I'm doing this video series because there is a 19.1 version of Apex now. I have a complete video series for Oracle Apex 18.1, and the current series will use Apex 19.1 and will follow in parallel with the same steps in the 18.1 series. So I have for software this time XE 11.2, Apex 19.1, SQL Developer 19.1. I will not walk through the steps of installing XE and upgrading to Apex 19.1. You can look at the previous video series and this particular video, Apex 00 of 30, if you want a demonstration of how to install XE and upgrade Apex. The steps of going from Apex 18.1 to 19.1 are the same. So if you want to work along, you can download and install Oracle XE 11.2, or you can use the most current version, which I do not have installed. You can download Oracle Apex 19.1 and go through the steps of upgrading to that. The one other thing that I have is I have also installed a translated version of Apex for Spanish. So if you're interested in that, you can go to the documentation. It's pretty simple to follow and pretty easy to do. But it's not quite as simple as I've seen on a few posts online. It's not just a matter of selecting a different language. You do have to install a set of support files, images, and other things that will provide the translated version of Apex. Once you've done that, then when you log in and go to, in my case, the local install of Oracle Apex, I can pick between Spanish and English. So if I look at my version of the database, as I told you, if I run this, then I can see that I do have 11.2 installed. I can go to SQL Developer Help About and see that I'm working with version 19.1. So let's get started. In this video, we are going to open up a form for the animal data, and we're going to add a button and then add a dynamic action so that we can estimate the age of an animal. Then I want to remind you about the different applications we have created in Apex, one for development purposes and one for production purposes. And finally, I want to remind you that I have another playlist in YouTube for the Apex 18.1 series, which is paired with videos about SQL commands and database concepts and terminology. There are really only a few changes from 18.1 to 19.1, so you might want to take a look at 18.1, especially at the corresponding SQL and database videos. So I'm going to log into Apex as the developer. I'll go to Application Builder, select my development application. I'll run that application. I have to log in. Then under the Animals menu items, I want the list of animals. I'm going to work with the third record, which is for Cookie, and I'll select the Edit option, which takes me to the form for entering and modifying data. I'm going to edit this page and do a little arrangement of the page items. I want to see chip number, estimated date of birth, estimated age all on one line. So I'll edit this page. And we've done this before. I will find the page item for estimated date of birth and estimated age. I want it to be on that same row. So I'll do estimated age on the left-hand side, then scroll down and start new row, no. So now I have chip number, date of birth, and estimated age. I don't generally mess with setting column widths, but I will in this case. I'm going to select chip number, and it's the first column, and I want the column span to be 3. So first column through column 3. The web page is broken up into 12 units. Then I'll go to date of birth, and that's going to be starting in column 4, and the column span I'm going to give that is 4. So I've used up 7. Then I'll go to estimated age and set that for starting in column 8, column span 2. Save that and run that. I need to have some space here for the button I'm going to add that I'll click on to get the estimated age. I need to have this particular page item wide enough that I see the icon for the calendar to select a date. So go back and edit the page, and I want to add a page item, and this is going to be a button. On the right hand side, I'm going to call this estimated age. I don't want it to be on a new row, so I'll say on the right hand side under layout, start new row, no. It's going to start in column, let's see, 9 I believe, and it'll have a width of 3. And I'll save that and check that out. And I've got it in the wrong place. I need to move it in terms of the sequence value so it comes after the page item for estimated age. So I'll edit the page and I'll click on that. Well, actually first let me get the page, the P5 estimated age page item, and that's sequence 140. I'll select the button and I'll make that sequence 142 and save that, and that moves it up. And then run that and make sure, oh, I must have already used 9. So let me edit this and see if I can get this right. I'll do this in 10 and see if that works. Okay, so chip number, estimated date of birth, estimated age, and then a button, estimate age. Let's see, so I will go ahead and edit this real quick so that it says estimate, not estimated. Estimate age, it's an action. And run that. Now notice I don't have any data. If I go back to the report, I can reselect cookie and bring it back in. And I do have an estimated date of birth. I don't have a chip number. So I'll go ahead and type something in. It doesn't really matter. I'll leave the date of birth as it's entered. And now what I need to do is edit the page again and add a dynamic action for something to happen when I click this button. So I will edit the page, select the button on the left hand side, right click, create dynamic action. Let me narrow this down a little bit. I want to click on show in the left hand side. Over in properties, under identification, I want to change to set value. Then under settings, I want to change set type from static assignment to PL/SQL expression. Then I'll need to go into this box and add the expression. So I've just pasted that in. I'm extracting the year from the current system date and subtracting from that the year from the page item that holds the estimated date of birth. So I'm just working with years. I'm not taking it down to the month level. So the actual age, even though these are really just estimates, so there's no real precision, the actual age in years and months is not being calculated. So I check to make sure that that's valid. It is, and I click OK. For items to submit, I need to submit the page 5 estimated date of birth. Then I will scroll down and look for affected elements, and I'll select the page number estimated age. Let me save that and run that. Go back to my report, reselect cookie, and I'm already getting the estimated age. Let me change this. I'll change that from June 1st of 2017 to June 1st, 2016, and then click the button. And we see that the estimated age goes up to 3. So I can go back to 17 and again estimate age. So if the age isn't already shown, then you can click the button to get the estimated age. So I'm going to select the home icon and the designer bar at the bottom and go into Application Builder. I just want to remind you that several videos back we created what we would call a production copy of daily operations. And you can copy, and I've done this in previous videos, we can copy a specific form over from the development application to the production application. It can get a little confusing though, depending on how you're handling the page numbers. So I just want to remind you that we want ultimately a production application. We can do elements at a time, or we can just simply take the development application and make a copy of that. So if I go into the production, which doesn't have many of the things we've done in the last 10 or so videos, and I run that, then I even gave it a different look so that it would be obvious to us that we were in a different version of the application. So this has the menus across the top instead of along the left side. So finally, I wanted to remind you that I have other playlists in YouTube because I'm coming to the end of the 19.1 series. I actually have 30 videos in the playlist for Apex 18.1. I have 30 videos about Apex, but I have corresponding videos for certain videos in this series where I explain the SQL commands and I explain database terms and concepts. So I've made this series for 19.1 to correspond to the topics in the videos in 18.1, only making the adjustments for differences in the version of the software. So you can go to 18.1 and look at video 5 and you will see essentially what I show you in 19.1. But more importantly, if there's some SQL that I've used in a video, then I may have a corresponding video about that SQL. So you could look at Apex 19.104 and you could see the same topics covered for 18.1 in this version, Apex 04 of 30. But you could also see in detail an explanation of the SQL. It would be Apex 04.SQL01. If there are 2 SQL videos, it would be SQL02. Same thing for the database. So I've made the numbering so that you can jump from one video, whether it's about Apex, you can go to SQL, you can go to the database, and that applies for 19 and 18. So hopefully that's helpful. I'll make one more video in this series, and I'll see you in the next video.